I'm Don Lemon.
The dumbest man in America is back.
Oh, Don Lemon over at CNN is doing it again, sparking more accusations of sexism. What is it with this guy?
You believe that there's a liberal bias in the media?
No. Why? No. People see what they want to see. And if you're liberal, then you think there's conservative bias. And if you're conservative, you think there's a liberal bias.
Things that make you go,
I'm the smartest man on television.
Do you think there's any bias at all?
Well, everyone comes with a bias. I mean, to say that there's a bias I would be disingenuous. I don't think that people are deliberately trying to skew things one way or the other. I just think people come from where they come from. Everyone has a lens.
Chris Lick, he's the new head of CNN. He wants to shift CNN from opinion-based partisanship news to a political center. Will you still be able to call it like it is?
Yes, I will be able to do what I do on CNN. And if I'm not allowed to be able to tell, which is to tell the truth, which is to inform the American electorate and the American public and also the world, because we're an international news organization.
Don Lemon, he always gets me laughing, especially early in the morning now, I guess.
CNN has denied a report that host Don Lemon has been benched over the sexist comments that he made previously, though he will not be hosting this Monday morning as a direct result of what he had to say about Nikki Haley's age and whether she's in her prime.
now that's classy with a K.
Meantime, the Don Lemon drama not letting up. Speaking of bad PR, right? CNN executives putting him on ice for the holiday. They temporarily benched the anchor after he said 2024 Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley is, quoting, past her prime.
CNN changed its Monday lineup to proceed without Lemon, while conversations about his future are ongoing.
No, boo-hoo, cancel culture.
And Don Lemon, who says Nikki Haley, who's 50, she said she's the one who's past her prime.
Shitholes.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry.
So I can't. If someone says something about women or something about any minority group or any person, if someone calls out someone's wife and says and compares them and says, my wife is prettier than your wife.
Don Lemon. Oh, my goodness. Watching Democrats try to figure out what a woman is a lot.
Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What do you talk? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Ketanji Brown Jackson is older than Nikki Haley. He didn't say a word about her. Kamala Harris is older than Nikki Haley. It is one of the most profoundly stupid things that I have ever heard anyone say. It's gender bias. It's political bias.
No. Why? No.
It's also stupid.
What do you talk? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime?
If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that.
Don, why are you Googling when is a woman in her prime? That is crazy. Why are you Googling that?
Like, what the hell? What is this? Like what? What?
Don Lemon is older than Nikki Haley, right? And I would say that, okay, I guess that means Don Lemon is past his prime, but you have to have a prime in the first place.
I think just because I'm gay that it takes my brain away,
right?
Or it makes me not be objective.
So what are you thinking, Don Lemon? And why are you Googling? Put down the keyboard.
Come on.
So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
You need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Kaylee, you got to just Google it, right? Just Google it.
This is crazy.
I'm not a huge fan of what we call cancel culture, but at the same time, had that been any conservative that made a similar comment about a liberal, there would be no question that they probably would have lost their job. So do I think so? Absolutely. Don, this isn't Don's first rodeo with stupidity. He has done this on multiple occasions. He lost his primetime show. If anyone's not in their prime, it's literally Don Lemon, who had a 9 o'clock primetime show and was pushed down to the morning show.
Are you insane?
If you Google it, Google tells you a woman is past her prime when she's after 20, 30, maybe 40, he says. If you Google CNN, it comes up as the most trusted news source. So we can't always rely on Google, Don. And I have to tell you, I'm so irritated by this guy. And honestly, his misogyny, and I don't use that word about a lot of people, but there's a pattern with him.
I'm neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I'm not political. I simply give the facts.
Don Lemon. But the real question I have here is, what was Don Lemon thinking to Google when is a woman in her prime? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's even a Googleable question.
Don Lemon did was the biggest self-own ever, because we all know Don Lemon doesn't like Donald Trump, so presumably he liked Hillary Clinton.
The president of the United States is racist.
So presumably he liked Hillary Clinton, who at the time when she ran for president was in her late 60s.
Words of Florida Evans. Damn, damn, damn.
This guy would actually go out there and trash women and say, you're only in your prime. How dumb do you have to be to say something like that? I mean, think about who talks like that anymore.
I'm not a racist, but I wouldn't want my daughter to bring home a black man.
This is full-on sexist sort of, I don't know, what is it, bait?
I guess, and it makes
sexism?
me mad because here I am wanting to be nasty. Mr. Don Lemon, you are 56, demoted from your primetime show now in the morning.
Literally not in his prime.
Not in your prime, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I do believe that this president is a racist, and I don't say that lightly. What he says about people of color, what he says about women, he's also a misogynist.
Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry.
What does he mean by prime? The co-anchor had an instinct that this was offensive, but frankly wasn't effective enough to actually shove it down his throat and recognize, are you referring to childbearing years? Because that is something women can mostly only do in their 20s, 30s, and 40s.
My God. You have tried everything because it is especially CNN and you, Don Lemon, you. It was your duty, your marching orders, your talking points to go after Trump and not let up.
But just childbearing is not what determines whether a woman is in her prime. What an ancient, anachronistic, stupid way of evaluating a woman's worth.
Don Lemon's ratings are horrible. And if you watch him, I've never met anybody, and I talk to people about cable news and things like that. I've never met anybody who's a huge Don Lemon fan.
No. And it makes me mad that he thinks he's the voice for the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
So if I'm not allowed to do that, then I will go on and do it somewhere else.
You'd be willing to walk if they stifled you like that?
And I don't mean just CNN. If people don't allow journalists to be journalists, because again, we hold the powerful accountable.
This is blatant sexism, and shame on him for doing this on the air. And frankly, those other women on set with him were pathetic and weak in calling him out. He deserved a more robust response. He deserves it now from the colleagues at CNN. He deserves it from the colleagues in the news industry and the bosses at CNN.
Are you insane?
Right in the beginning when his co-host said, prime for what? No, but like, first of all, it's hilarious because it reminds me of turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Play this stupid juvenile meme game.
15 years. How does Don Lemon still have a job after this? This is such an awful, spiteful comment. The question you have is, have they been looking for a reason to get rid of Don Lemon all along? And they finally had it. Don Lemon is a black gay man.
If there's not enough room for a gay anchor, gay black anchor, or whatever it is, then my career will transform into something else.
The child, the dimwit child, okay? The child that CNN is propping up and making a goddamn fool out of just for ratings because they're desperate. I mean desperate.
Look, remember, he said that the missing plane from Indonesia might have gotten sucked into a black hole. That's crazy. And he didn't get fired for that.
It was hijacking or terrorism or mechanical failure or pilot error, but what if it was something fully that we don't really understand? A lot of people have been asking about that, about black holes and on and on and on and all of these conspiracy theories. Let's look at this. Noah says, what else can you think about? Black hole, Bermuda Triangle. And then Deji says, just like the movie Lost. And of course, they're also referencing the Twilight Zone, which has a very similar plot.
That's what people are saying. I know it's preposterous, but is it preposterous, you think, Mary?
A small black hole would suck in our entire universe, so we know it's not that. Bermuda Triangle is often weather, and Lost is a TV show.
Well, I know it's a TV show, but is it, Mary?
And so he'll be fired, no question about it. I don't know if he survives today, let alone the future, because they're gonna blame all the bad ratings on him. And I'll make one more prediction for you guys. Their ratings will suck just as hard after he's gone.
Oh, 1,000%.
No. Why? No. I've been doing this job for a long time, and I've been objective, and I think I've been fair.
Don Lemon, the rodeo clown, the sock puppet, the idiot.
It can be maybe they were intimidated out of making this decision, or based on they didn't want the perception that they were targeting their only black gay journalist.
And I'm human, and if I make a mistake and I go too far in something, then I'll just apologize and I'll move on.
I don't know why he's been there that long, and I cannot believe that he would survive this. It's such an easy opportunity to get rid of Don Lemon.
But I cannot believe the stuff you make up. It is mind-blowing.
This is literally crazy. Are you people insane?
Mind-blowing. How you do this is, I do not understand.
This is a pattern with him. Remember when he asked whether a Bill Cosby female rape victim who said she'd been forced to perform oral sex, she should have just gotten out of it by biting down.
Ask you this because and please, I don't mean to be crude, okay?
Yeah.
Because I know some of you, and you said this last night, that you lied to him and said, I have an infection, and if you rape me, or if you have intercourse with me, then you will probably get it and give it to your wife.
Right.
And you said he made you perform oral sex.
Right.
You know, there are ways not to perform oral sex if you don't want to do it.
I was kind of stoned at the time, and quite honestly, that didn't even enter my mind. Now I wish it would have.
Right.
But
meaning the using of the teeth, right?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. I didn't even think of it.
Biting. So,
ouch.
Yes.
What an idiot. He doesn't understand anything about women, about America, about prime. He's 56, by the way. I guess he'd be the first to tell you he's still in his prime, but the internet says that we women, we're well past our prime, so we about to be put out to pasture. I'm sorry. This is absurd. I've had it with this guy.
The word on the street is that you guys aren't allowed to be liberal anymore. Is that the case?
I don't think we ever were liberal. We have to hold people to account. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going liberal or conservative or whatever. It just means that we are doing what we do, and that's good journalism.
Let's roll the videotape.
If you voted for Trump, you voted for the person who the Klan supported.
I don't think we ever were liberal.
There is no reason to believe that the Republicans are going to start playing fairly and are going to start operating as a party of sanity.
I don't think we ever were liberal.
I'm sorry, I'm just remembering Don Lemon's interview with Stephen Colbert. They're both such hacks.
I was reading earlier this week that gaslighting is Merriam-Webster's word of the year. And this is an example of it.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, he can't be trusted with a microphone. I mean, he's live on television, and he doesn't seem to understand that Nikki Haley is running for president, not the 100-yard dash in the Olympics, right? I mean, that's something where prime age might be between 18 and 40.
Don Lemon will return to the anchor desk of CNN This Morning on Wednesday after participating in formal training.
Are you insane?
This comes after Lemon stepped away from the news network's morning show amid controversy over his comments last week about former South Carolina governor and 2024 presidential candidate Nikki Haley.
Go ahead. Troll the Democrats on Twitter. Do this stupid, silly, you know what?
This doesn't surprise me. What only surprises me is why he's continued to be given a platform. He continues to offend and appall viewers and any listener seeing it on a clip, because we know there isn't that many live viewers. I don't know why he is Googling in preparation for his segment. I guess that shows the level of intellectual prowess that we can expect from that show.
Play this stupid juvenile meme game.
After he says, do you like me? Is that why you're effing with me? And I said, no, I just wanted to say what's up, man. And I look at my boss and I look back and he has his hand in his pants, rubbing himself aggressively. And he shoves his 2 fingers up underneath my mustache, thrusts my head back and says, do you like your dick? And he said it like 2 or 3 times after that.
Anyway, good luck, Don. I'm in my prime, baby.
When were we ever greater than we are today? More free, more inclusive. Songs that made the hit parade. Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
This is my favorite part.
I would have to be Archie. You be Edith. Guys were guys, men were men.
Men were men. Oh my gosh.
Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. That's what he's tapping into. She, our old LaSalle ran great.
That's exactly what this is. Those were the days.
That's what we're going back to.
Norman Lear, brilliant.
I am your voice.
I mean, I think you haven't even hit your prime, Kaylee. So take that to the bank.
I would hope
And
not.
I didn't even have to Google that. That's how I know. Thank you.